They say this whole world is unreal, without any foundation, that there is no God, and that there is arisen just out of chance. They say this only desire is truth in this world. Holding to this view, many are lost. They lose intelligence, and they perform terrible deeds, which can lead to destruction. Chapter 7 of the Bhagavad Gita starts with Krishna saying, "Listen, as I will now tell you how, by practicing yoga and by taking shelter within me, with mind attached to me, you can come to me free from all doubts. I'll declare this knowledge to you in great detail. That is both theoretical of the mind, but also realized within your own existence, knowing nothing more that is needed in this world. Among thousands of human beings, one may strive for perfection. Of those who have sought perfection, hardly any of those knows me in truth." Such an interesting verse, that very few people will seek perfection in their life. But even amongst those of us who seek perfection, who will actually obtain that perfection in this life? Very few people will even think about it, because the world is pulling us in every other direction apart from the quest for God. Earth, water, fire, air, space, mind, intellect, the sense of self. Together, this is my material nature divided into the eightfold. O Arjuna, besides this lower nature, there is also the higher, which consists of living beings that sustain this universe. Okay, so this is what I consider Sankhya Yoga. So Krishna is defining the elements of the world. Like there is the earth, there's the water, there is all of this existence. This is the body of God also. Like the earth is God. All living beings are God. And then besides this physical nature, there is also more different realms of existence, which consist of living beings that sustain this universe. Divine beings. Let's see what the verses 3 and 4 describe two natures, Prakriti, one lower and one higher. The lower form of nature consists of the 8 elements mentioned in verse 4. These 8 elements are characterized by unconsciousness. Okay, so unconscious elements like the earth itself or stone or, kind of the planets. The higher form of nature would consist of jiva bhuta, that with consciousness. So the unconscious elements as well as the conscious elements. All beings arise from these two natures, be assured. I am both the origin and the dissolution of the universe. O conqueror of wealth, there is nothing that is superior to me. This whole world is bound to me as pearls are strung on a thread. Now, every week I'm saying something that I would like you to take some of these verses and put them on your wall in a nice quotable one. Here it is again, 7:7 of the Bhagavad Gita. Circle it, put it in your highlighter, print it out, put it on the wall. Mata aparataramna anyat kinchit asti dhananjaya. Mai sarvam idam protram sutra manigana eva. Mata aparataramna anyat kinchit asti dhananjaya. There is nothing that exists. So like these beads, uh, Krishna is saying that if you, oh, I've lost my page. Krishna is saying that if you remove the string from these beads, then the beads just crash and fall everywhere. So I am like jewels on a thread, on a necklace. I am that. Really, really wonderful verse. Mata parataram na anyat kinchit asti dhananjaya. Mayi sarvam, mayi sarvam, all things on mayi, idam protram, sutram manigana eva. Sutra is like the thread. You know the English word suta, to sew, is sutra in the Sanskrit. So we're like a thread on the necklace, and that is God within each one of us. That is God within every living being. Is that divine thread holding all of us together, the sacred thread holding it all together. So special a verse. Now we're going to get really poetic. Oh, son of Kunti, I am the taste in water, the light of the sun and the moon, the syllable Om heard in all of the Vedas. I am sound in space. I am life force and vitality of all of mankind. I am the sweet fragrance of the earth and the warmth in fire. I am life in all creatures and the penance of all ascetics. O Partha, know that I am the eternal seed of all beings, the intellect of those who have intelligence, and the splendor of all things that are splendorous. Amongst great souls, O bull of the Bharatas, I am the strength of the strong, devoid of yearning and passion. I am desire, found in all things, all beings that are contrary to Dharma. Now, these verses that follow on from that Mata Parataramna Anyat Kinchit Asti Dhananjaya verse, verse 7, are some of the most poetic and beautiful spiritual verses that I've ever read. So, come in here. I am the taste of water. I am the light of the sun. The syllable. I am the sweet fragrance of the earth and the warmth in fire. When Krishna is saying I'm the warmth of fire, he's very intimate. He's sharing something that like it's so close. I am the strength of the strong, devoid of yearning and passion. And here in verse 11, something really interesting for us to listen to. I am desire found in all beings that is not contrary to Dharma. So we often think of desire as a negative. We often think of, oh, I really wish this loving relationship with this person, or I really wish for um, these material objects that I'm really desirous of. Krishna's not saying that your desire is wrong. It's good to have desire. It's a part of our life and the world and so on. Is not saying that it's necessarily wrong. Krishna is saying, in fact, he is that desire. That God is that desire, but only that desire which is not contrary to Dharma. So it has to be in line with the universal flourishing and balance of the earth and life. So I guess taking a holiday that is going in, I don't know, shooting a bunch of animals, a hunting expedition, just because they desire it. For me, that wouldn't be in line with Dharma. But maybe a trip which, has satsang and spends time in nature and, in the Himalayas where we have this beautiful satsang and serving children together. That for me is something I desire to do and spend time in and achieve. That's the Krishna. Know that all states of being, whether sattva, rajas, or tamas, come from me alone. I am not in them, but they exist within me. Deluded by these states of constantly of the three gunas, this world doesn't recognize me easily. I am above all gunas and am imperishable. Indeed, it is my divine energy, Devi Maya. Indeed, my divine energy, composed of the gunas, is difficult to overcome. But those who love and approach me can transcend the energy of the world. Those who come with that deep intention for spiritual practice can transcend the gunas. But the evil who are ignorant, who are of the lowest of mankind, whose learning is being carried away by illusion, or who follow or exist and have a malevolent nature, cannot approach me. Now, what does Krishna mean by a malevolent nature? I'll skip forward to chapter 16, where Krishna describes the divine and the malevolent natures. I think it's verse 5. Let's see. Well, verse 7. So I'll read this and we'll come back to it in a few months. But persons of malevolent nature do not know how to act or not know how not to act. They don't know how to act and they didn't even know how not to act. They neither have purity, proper conduct, or even truth itself is not found in them. They say this whole world is unreal, without any foundation, that there is no God, and that there is arisen just out of chance. They say there's only desire is truth in this world. Holding to this view, many are lost. They lose intelligence, and they perform terrible deeds, which can lead to destruction. They have the qualities of insatiable desire, hypocrisy, arrogance, and pride. So there's some qualities of the malevolent nature. Based on a delusional understanding, their undertakings are impure. They're overflowing with anxiety that never seems to cease. Gratification of desire has become the supreme object of their lives. Nothing else. Just gratify, I want this, I want more, I want more. They are convinced that there is no higher goal to life. Bounded by an endless chain of expectation upon expectation, subject to desire and anger. They hoard all wealth in order to fulfill their desires by any means possible. I'm sure we know a few global business leaders like this. Today I've acquired this much wealth. Tomorrow I shall acquire even more wealth in the future. This much is mine today, and tomorrow even more will be mine. I have destroyed the enemy. I will destroy others also. I am the Lord. I am the enjoyer. I am so successful. I am strong. I am happy. I am wealthy. I am of noble birth. Who is equal to me? I shall perform the sacrifice. I shall give in charity. I shall rejoice. In this way, they continue to be deluded. So Krishna is given a real, when he talks about malevolent nature, or he really gives a view, which is um, uh, uh, describes what that is, and I just want to talk about that for a moment because I want to really differentiate the dharmic view versus many of the kind of, I have to be careful when I say this because many people have different views, but traditionally a lot of Abrahamic schools of thought have kind of separated believer or non-believer based on faith, or the one who is good and the one who sins, based on who they are. Now here it's about delusion, so everyone is good. The only difference is that some are ignorant of truth. And so even if somebody is doing something really bad, it's just that they're lost. Like they've just got lost. They're just doing the wrong thing because they haven't realized that their inner essence is love, that their inner essence is pure and that they're God. So I think that it's really important not to take these verses in the view of um, that anyone is inherently evil. It's more about delusion, and I saw recently actually a quite brilliant speaker. I think Yuval Noah Harari. Some of you may have come across his books, *Sapiens*, which was incredibly successful. *Sapiens* text. He raised this point in a talk recently, that a lot of Indian philosophy, particularly Buddhism and Hinduism, will follow this kind of idea that you know the underlying essence of everyone is good, that we are all perfect, but some of us just lose our way, and some of us do some bad things. But that is a state of ignorance. not a state of evil. Four kinds of righteous person worship me. One who is afflicted, which means, you're going through a difficult time in life. So we often turn to the divine at a time when things go wrong. More difficult when, uh, less often when things are going our way. But when we go through trouble, like Arjuna in the first chapter, despondency, then we'll turn to God. Four kinds of worship person worships me: the afflicted, the inquisitive, those who desire personal gain. Somebody seeking a new car, might be nice to offer some fruits in the temple, or um, perform a puja for that new house or car or something. Those who desire personal gain. And then fourth, the truly learned. Jnani, the truly learned. A simple description of four types of people. Amongst those great souls, the one who is truly learned, whose devotion is single pointed, and who is constantly disciplined, is best. I am exceedingly dear to the person who is truly learned, and that person is extremely dear to me. So it's only in that state of, spiritual state. So many people will worship God, many people will practice religion, many people will have different objectives or goals for their worship or intentions. But the one who is single pointed in devotion, who's constantly 24, like we heard in Dukkha Bhanjani Sahib, 24 hours in meditation, even when asleep, even when eating, even when uh, reading the Gita, even when doing their job, they're in meditation. They're offering everything. All of these, okay, verse 18, all of these indeed exalted souls. But the one who is truly learned is my very self. Yuktatmamam. They are me. They are my very self. These words in Sanskrit are very, very clear. Yuktatmama. Atmeva me matam. They are within me. So, Dr. Nicholas Sutton, who's co-written 3 books with me, an incredible teacher, wonderful soul, he often likes to point out in this verse, chapter 7, verse 18, something that I really like. And what he says is, and we could easily glance past it if you're just reading the Gita normally. You probably wouldn't necessarily pick this up unless you really have a keen eye for it. Krishna says, all of these are indeed exalted souls. So previously he said 4 types of people worship me. Those people who um, are afflicted, they're going through difficult times, and therefore they're worshiping. Those who are just inquisitive, the philosopher, who just wants to kind of understand reality, or is really kind of trying to understand that, and therefore is practicing worship. Those who are desirous of personal gain, and the truly wise, the yogi, the jnani, who wants to connect and be one with God. But Krishna says, uh, he doesn't say that any one of them is bad. Even the person who is seeking personal gain through worship or practice is described as an exalted soul. They are all good. It's just that the one who does it for love is within me and I am in them. Like they realize that state. So we don't want to criticize anybody for their way of practicing religion. Like I think I was with some friends recently Last week we didn't have a session, but obviously constantly around satsang is always going on. And we were with some Muslim friends and Christian friends and various different people, and we were talking about this type of spiritual understanding, deep, essence of spirituality, what we were exploring. And then one of them says, not everybody thinks like you. Not everybody goes to this kind of essence. They're not essence seekers. They're just practicing their normal life and they're following their religious text and they're doing that. They don't all want to mingle in the ocean together, in the heart of hearts together. They're not seeking that. And and I think that's okay. Like everybody is where they are at. And if somebody's chanting the name just purely so that they can pay the mortgage, then that's good too. Krishna says that's good too. So I really take a lot of solace from that, not everybody, he said out of thousands, only one or two few people will even think to practice this stuff, who will go into spiritual essence. So let not us feel that anybody is higher or lower, that their path is any less relevant or divine than ours. We are just blessed to be able to explore, um, to be a essence seeker. Okay. All of these are indeed exalted souls, but the one who is truly learned is my very self. Such a devoted soul has taken shelter of me as the highest goal, and this is my opinion. At the end of many births, the person of learning surrenders unto me, thinking Vasudeva. Vasudeva Sarvam iti sa mahatmasu durlabha. Thinking Vasudeva is all things. God is all things. I come back to that line. Maharaji said, better to see God in everything than try and figure things out. Just see God everywhere. See God in everyone. Be in all places. Vasudeva, Krishna, is all things. Indeed, such a soul is very rare. Iti sa Mahatma Sadurlabha. Krishna uses the word Mahatma. Many of you will know Mahatma Gandhi is often referred to as Mahatma. Krishna uses the term here Mahatma to define a person who sees God in all beings, who says Vasudeva is all things. To whatever divine manifestation they faithfully choose to worship, I make their faith strong. There is really a lot of deep philosophy in these verses, and we are going way too fast. You know, but I'm going to just read this one verse and then pause because, they're very beautiful verses. But also here, there's Krishna is then now making another important point. So first he said that everyone who's worshipping is worshipping um, in a good way. Nobody is wrong. Nobody is right. We are all doing in our own way. But then he's also saying, the one who's completely within me sees Vasudeva as all things, and such a soul is rare. Now, um, those whose knowledge has been carried away by countless desires, surrendered to other divine beings, and follow different religious regulations, governed by their nature, to whatever divine manifestation they faithfully choose to worship, I make their faith strong. So it's interesting here that this could be interpreted as saying is all religions lead to the same ocean. All rivers lead to the ocean. And if somebody's worshipping a particular path, we shouldn't say that that path is worse or this path is better or this path is better and that path is worth. We say that all paths are true, and it's actually Krishna is saying I am giving them that faith because they have that faith because of the energy that is imbued by me, and being endowed with such faith they endeavor to worship that particular path or that deity and thereby fulfilling their desires. All is happening within me. It's all happening within the body of God. So we have pluralism, we have removal of suffering, we have divinity being that sacred thread, um, which we spoke about earlier. And we have these beautiful poetic verses where Krishna describes who he is, um, in such a beautiful way. Uh, I think that beautiful verse that I really have has stayed within my heart. Mata parataramna anyat kinchit asti dhananjaya. Mayi sarvam idam protram sutra manidana eva. This whole world is bound to me as pearls are strung on a thread. I am the taste in water. I am the light of the sun. I'm the essence. That's what Krishna is really saying, right? God is the essence of all things. So let us pause on the Gita there.